There is the transformation of the disciples. These were men who abandoned Jesus at his arrest, who hid in fear after the crucifixion, who had no expectation of resurrection despite Jesus telling them repeatedly it would happen. After the resurrection, they became bold, fearless. They preached publicly in Jerusalem, the most hostile environment imaginable. They performed miracles. They planted churches across the known world, endured persecution with joy. What changed them? Liars do not become martyrs. Cowards do not become courageous unless something profound happens. The disciples were transformed because they encountered the risen Jesus. They were not preaching a theology. They were testifying to an event they witnessed. Skeptics sometimes argue that the resurrection accounts are legendary developments, that over time, the story of Jesus got embellished. He was a good teacher who died, and over decades or centuries, the myth grew that he rose from the dead. This theory is contradicted by the timeline. The earliest Christian writings we have are Paul's letters, written within 20 to 30 years of the crucifixion. 1 Corinthians, written around 55 AD. Paul quotes an early Christian creed that most scholars believe dates to within years of the crucifixion. It says Christ died for our sins according to the Scriptures, he was buried, he was raised on the third day according to the Scriptures, and he appeared to Peter, then to the 12. After that, he appeared to more than 500 brothers and sisters at the same time, most of whom are still living. Paul is saying this in the 50s AD, roughly 25 years after the events. He is telling his readers that most of the witnesses are still alive. Go ask them if you do not believe me. That is not how legends develop. Legends take generations. They develop after all the witnesses are dead and no one can fact-check the story. Paul is writing while hundreds of eyewitnesses are still alive. If he was lying, he would have been called out immediately. The fact that Christianity spread despite this verifiable claim suggests the witnesses confirmed what Paul was saying. The gospel accounts were written within the lifetimes of the eyewitnesses. Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John all record the resurrection with specific details. Minor discrepancies exist between the accounts, which is actually evidence of authenticity. If the disciples had conspired to invent a story, they would have harmonized their accounts to eliminate contradictions. The fact that each gospel has a slightly different perspective, emphasizing different details, suggests independent testimony. This is exactly what you would expect from multiple witnesses to a real event. Different perspectives, same core truth. Jesus died. The tomb was empty. He appeared to many people. The church exploded into existence. The question remains, what is the best explanation for all of this?